Good morning, good morning, good morning. The computer is catching up. Oh, I'm so grateful to be here with you. What a beautiful morning. Is it working? Okay. I think it's working. It says I'm live. And I just wanted to come here 6 days after I turned 37 and say thank you for all of the birthday wishes. Thank you for the blessings that don't ask me to be less me, but that actually celebrate me for being my authentic self, which is individuated as the creator embodied that it is creating, which is also the mirror for you as to what you are doing too, which is why I am so excited to be also 7 Now Days underway with the 66 Days to Transform Your Self-Concept course. For years, literally, since 2017, when I started writing the book that took 5 years to write before I could pen it in a month in 2022, I was trying to write about the transformation of self-image, and it didn't resonate with me because the image is where the magi has its energy in a different order. The image is just the picture that we take, the snapshot, the screenshot of that which is implied to be all the time, or more than just what could be seen in the little preview that was the portrait or the snapshot, the still shot. I don't believe that we need to drop our knees to be knighted by kings, to be implied to be knights that can then go fight for a kingdom that is a king's domain, that he claims dominion over all things under his domain as the main character who can, claiming to have highest claim of right to be able to command the land. But that's because there's a co-man. When you bring in the public and stand in a public office without understanding, there are three of them simultaneously passing judgment on you as to whether you are the principal agent or the debtor, exchequer, executor, the legal person, statutory person, or the substitute person. Did you know these things? That's the third person office that has an agent of the principal who is the usury agent or the court Jew that works for the courts. Jews actually just being a sect of a belief system that practices banking. So, court Jew not meaning to be an offensive term at all, but simply to say that court Jews had a way of actually playing the part of the religion while also benefiting from usury contracts that the religion said are not of the Lord, yet are of the Lord, because the Lord is the one that has a liege lord above him, who is simply a noble that got his position because of who he was related to. And I speak in terms of he's and not she's or they's because in the scheme of things, it has been a man's world and now is shifting to be a woman's world where the men have been emasculated unnecessarily. We don't need to make a man feel less, nor do we need to make our masculinity any less either. We have been playing small for far too long because we thought we needed to fit into the box that is one dimensional in nature, hence the identity as 1D entities feeding off of us who believe that the checking of that box confines us and limits us to that, so we must conform our substance to fit into that little box. What's she talking about? Well, you know what I mean. You check the box and say that's what I am in the one-dimensional identity that we take on, to then stand in a two-dimensional counterfeit version of reality that looks the same, except for it's corporate, which means corpse is a dead body orating through those who are living, saying the living word is what was written when we are the living word. when it's spelled W-Y-R-D, not W-O-R-D, that would limit and confine us, you see? I know. It's absolute insanity. But you want to know what else is insane? The fact that until I actually share this post with others, they won't know that it's happening. And if they don't know, they can't come, which is precisely why I am inviting all bums to get on seats with the album 24 modified A44 project. I'm getting used to it in my own head. Titles matter. So I'm sharing this on Telegram, and I say if you're not already part of the community there, then please join PIWU dot no dot indeed. I just put it in there, and I heed my own knowledge to say I had a few things that I wanted to say today, so I'm just gonna say that 66 Days to Transform Yourself concept was where we actually got underneath of the images, which are those little boxes we get trapped in and confined in and then stuck in, and then we can't move beyond, like what just kind of happened when I was even just talking about the one-dimensional, two-dimensional, three-dimensional, four-dimensional, five-dimensional aspect of us. Moving into the concept allows us to see which deity we have been making God within the domain of our mind that controls the whole temple, where we have two on either side, and then one in the heart that balances, with the Egyptian practice of weighing a heart against a feather to see which was lighter, as to whether you had balanced your karma. Well, that is one of the coming chapters within Florence Scovel Shinn's The Game of Life and How to Play It, which I'm reading aloud, and I've just now posted the first 3 chapters too. I believe that's 5, so you've got one before it too. Now, what I want to do is also share with you the fact that tomorrow there is a Fairy Creek premiere in Toronto, and I am excited to say that I will be on my way there in the bubble bus with some amazing characters, friends who are also passionate about life and community and living fully. And so we're going to go to Fairy Creek because what I have come to understand is that it is the watershed area of Vancouver Island's ancient forest that has been on a stand down order up until February 2025, at which point that stand down order will lift and the mining company, the logging company, is able to come in and take what they wish to if they have no consideration for what will be left after they are done. With that which will no longer have the ancient roots that it always has, to be able to direct the waters that have fed the whole forest and other areas, including the people that live in those forests. It is time for us to start being more mindful of us who are actually living, which is why the Beehive Collective and their giant canvases of the top-down board game view of business, which is life when in a counterfeit version of truth, such as a Monopoly game that is actually corporate in nature, which means it's real, it's just not what we thought specifically either. So we breathe that in. And we see there is a counterfeit version of all things, and then there's the reality of things. And that is the fact that we are the ones that are here on earth, which is heart in a different order, because we need to get back into the moment to see the implications for 7 generations forward and back to the choices that we make now. Fairy Creek is a premiere for a documentary about this issue, and I'm excited to hear the perspective of the producer, who brought it together, who I understand will be doing a Q&A after the screening. And so I am looking forward to hearing more and also having with me some who were at Fairy Creek during the protests for the 6 weeks. So it's really exciting to have all of these cool cats and characters coming together. Now, I have an update about my podcast as well, the Weaving Intentional Inner Webs podcast that I started last Friday that I haven't posted. I need more time to be able to pull it all together because, in the scheme of things, this premiere tomorrow is not something that I'm directly involved in, except for now I choose to want to invest energy into the cause, which requires energy to learn about it. It requires energy to network with people, including Rainbow Eyes, who is one of the key characters within the whole last stand movement. Last stand was what they were calling it in 2021 when I was interviewing them before court one day, them being some of the women that are actually standing up for these ancient trees that cannot speak for themselves. It was absolutely remarkable. And Rainbow Eyes showed up to that meeting then, and then I've reconnected with her now. And it's just so empowering to know there are strong people holding down forts in areas that we wouldn't even know were under siege if it wasn't for the ground roots or the grassroots movement of boots on the feet that tell other boots they know that love those boots and so share the story. And then others can say, oh, I didn't know that was happening. Let me stand with you. And then we stand together, and then we find that there's no one left to operate the machines that would be causing us all harm if we continued to get into the positions to operate the machine and cause us all harm. It's crazy. So without any further ado, I want to invite you to the Thursday MASTERmind Inner Circle group that I started last Thursday as well. So launching a podcast and an inner circle without having time to promote either, with only 2 Patreons presently, which I would really, really, really like to change and would greatly appreciate it because, quite frankly, I need it. I am moving eventually, and I also have a lot of really amazing projects that I need sponsorship in order to be able to bring together and produce. So what I'm asking for is that those who would like to join the Inner Circle Mastermind group on Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. for the next 9 weeks, I'm going to ask you for $22.22 a month. And with that money, you're going to get weekly calls. You're going to get daily emails with the 66 Days to Transform Your Self-Concept course that I'm sending to everyone subscribed through Patreon. And then I will also be sending regular-ish emails to those subscribed to my emails too. But Patreon is ultimately where I am looking to really focus my attention where the community is concerned, because that's what allows me to easier create products and be able to create opportunities that help me serve others. So very exciting. And I am looking forward to being able to bring all of this together. I just got a message from Jim saying funeral. So that is something I'll need to respond to, because tomorrow with the Fairy Creek premiere, he's driving. And yeah, that is the present plan, though plans can change over time if things are required, but ultimately, hopefully, that is not the case for tomorrow. And when you're live and you have things pop up, then you respond to them or you don't. You acknowledge them or you don't. And that's ultimately what we have to choose for ourselves. But that was the front of the message that I wanted to share today. And I don't know why no one else is on here or able to see that I am live. This is my Facebook page where I am screening or streaming this broadcast. And that is Laura J.E. Hamilton, Your Guide Home to Yourself. So if you want to join that page on Facebook, it also links with the Where Misfits Fit Peaceful Inner Warriors United group on Facebook that I started years and years and years ago as Where Misfits, or a space where misfits fit, home for soulful seekers was what it was originally called. So I've stayed true and on the line of the same message over the years, or similar, with a shared heart or foundation for certain. And so my message and my reason for coming on here now is because I recognize if somebody is always doing things in a different platform and not in the platform that you're actually on, there may be less desire to engage in that platform. But what I'm going to ask is that when you do watch this back and you do see this and you do hear my message and also now my ask, I'd love to know what you want to know more about. I want to know what rabbit holes you want to go deeper down. I'm not promising a chartered course down any of them. But what I am suggesting is that in the 66 Days to Transform Your Self-Image course, I already spoke about transform your self-image and transform your self-concept. Self-concept is the new title. Self-image was the title it was for years, but never felt right, as I expressed earlier. So the 66 Days to Transform Your Self-Concept course is actually going deeper into trust, but the counterfeit versions of all things, meaning trust with a capitalized T is the one that is specifically related to the monetary system. If you want to actually look at the interlocking trust systems that we are being contained by in a containment field of consciousness that we haven't known how to actually share. My nose got itchy and I got a message all at the same time. So I'm rocking the boat of the Matrix by talking about what we are not supposed to talk about, because the trust that we have between each other is lowercase. There ain't no capitalization on the trust we have between one another. Do you see? It is true. We can have trust without the capitalized T. And when they sign documents, we're always told to dot your I's and cross your T's to keep your head about me and you too, because when we sign documents, we are according ourselves to that which we're giving permission for a carbon copy of the original to be what's said to be true, and it's not. It's just a version of us they image, that 1D part of us with an entity inside of it that comes out and after us, because we said, sure, this is what I am. And the identity I get from the two-dimensional reality is worth it to me to drop a knee to be knighted by some man who claims to be king. Knowledge. What is king? Fornicating under carnal knowledge. Fornicating under contract of king. That's a different acronym. Oh. So, now that you've got a song and you've seen me get it wrong and get it right, well, maybe you might want to be an inner circle member of the Peaceful Inner Warriors United Club. Let me know by going to Patreon. Patreon.com/LJEH is the way that you can support me and choose to help me produce the documentary. How we harmonized us is what it's called, unless we find something better, because I think if we just call these shots, We want to film and then we actually call us to come and play the parts. We show it being done and then we film it so then we can screen it and say it's been done. We don't need to push against the things that have been happening when we can create something new. We put our energy to here and then we don't have energy to go there. And when we all do that, well, that includes the ones that have been victimizing us to cause the issues in the first place, because drama has been how we steal power from one another, because energetic vampirism is real. In Hyro's PRism, where the public relations campaign, the ism of a system likes to blame all things on one another. So if you got sick of that, join me over here. That's what the documentary will be. And peaceful inner warriors, united community is where we find we'll come together and remind one another to be our authentic selves truly. That's what I see for us. And so I trust this finds you well. Oh, I'm gonna say that's enough for today, and I hope you will share this with those who will benefit from hearing what I'm sharing. Thank you. Without further ado, toodaloo for today. I'm Laura J. of the clan Hamilton. I'm my own woman. I think I stopped it. I think I did.